I like to think of myself as young. Recently I heard that middle age runs from 35 to 58 years of age. On that basis, not only am I not young, I'm well past even middle-aged. People often speak of being middle-aged as a time of midlife crisis. A midlife crisis can be caused by aging itself, or aging in combination with changes, problems, or regrets over work, career, relationships, children, and physical changes associated with aging. Individuals experiencing a midlife crisis are often searching for an undefined dream or goal. We may have a deep sense of remorse for goals not yet accomplished. We may fear humiliation among more successful colleagues. We often desire to achieve a feeling of youthfulness. At the root of all these things is a sense of something being missing. There's often a tragic wisdom in midlife crises. We realize the emptiness of much of what we used to strive for, even if what we replace it with is not always particularly wise. The good news is that God can use any crisis and turn it around. With Jesus, it's never too late to make a new start and to ensure that your life is set in the right direction.
From Luke chapter 19, verses 1 to 10. Jesus entered Jericho and was passing through. A man was there by the name of Zacchaeus. He was a chief tax collector and was wealthy. He wanted to see who Jesus was, but because he was short, he could not see over the crowd. So he ran ahead and climbed a sycamore fig tree to see him, since Jesus was coming that way. When Jesus reached the spot, he looked up and said to him,
"Zacchaeus, come down immediately. I must stay at your house today."
So he came down at once and welcomed him gladly. All the people saw this and began to mutter, "He has gone to be the guest of a sinner." But Zacchaeus stood up and said to the Lord,
"Look, Lord, here and now I give half of my possessions to the poor, and if I have cheated anybody out of anything, I will pay back 4 times the amount."
Jesus said to him,
"Today salvation has come to this house, because this man too is a son of Abraham. For the Son of Man came to seek and to save the lost."
God can use a crisis. Zacchaeus was probably in midlife. He was old enough to be at the top of his profession, but young enough to climb a tree. He was a wealthy man. He had the status of being a chief tax collector, with people working under him, and had no doubt been promoted many, many times. He had success, but at a cost. Tax collectors had an appalling reputation for corruption and collaborating with the occupying Roman power. He'd worked hard for the sake of his family, and they must have faced ostracism owing to his line of work and unpopularity. His parents had called him Zacchaeus, meaning the righteous one. But now perhaps he had no time for God. Religious people regarded him as a sinner. I've often wondered whether Zacchaeus was going through a midlife crisis. Whether he was or not, he found the answer that so many people are searching for in his encounter with Jesus. First, why should you want to see Jesus? Zacchaeus provides us with an example to follow. 2 things you may realize. First, he realized he had a need. Despite all his money and success, there was still something missing. Second, he realized that Jesus might provide the key. He wanted to see who Jesus was. The most important question we can ever ask is, who is Jesus? 4 things you might not realize. First, you might not realize that you can't hide from Jesus. Zacchaeus wanted to see Jesus without Jesus seeing him. Perhaps he felt ashamed. But none of us can hide. Jesus knew him already. He knew his name. For a Hebrew, if someone knew your name, they knew a great deal about you. God knows all about you. Second, you might not realize that Jesus loves us in spite of our sin. Jesus picked him out in a crowd. Jesus sees us wherever we are. He was on his way to Jerusalem to die on a cross for all of us. He was going to die for Zacchaeus and for you and me. Third, you might not realize that Jesus wants to know you as he wanted to know Zacchaeus. This is the heart of the Christian faith, knowing Jesus Christ. Fourth, you might not realize that Jesus requires a response. This is a moment of high drama. Jesus says, "Come down immediately." Whatever you've done in your life and whatever your imperfection, Jesus loves you and wants to be in a relationship with you. But he requires a response. In a dramatic moment of encounter, Jesus said, "Come down immediately." Second, how should you respond to Jesus? Follow Zacchaeus' example. First, he came down. He obeyed Jesus and humbled himself. Second, he didn't put it off. He came down at once. Third, he welcomed him. Fourth, he did so gladly. At last, he'd found true happiness, but in an unexpected way. Fifth, he was not put off by the crowd's attitude. They were shocked and said, in effect, "He's not the religious type." But Zacchaeus didn't care what the people thought. Third, what difference does Jesus make? A total transformation took place in Zacchaeus' attitude, his life, his family, and in the society around him. Your attitude. Zacchaeus completely changed his attitude to his possessions. His experience of Jesus put everything else in perspective. It was no longer, "How much can I get?" but rather, "How much can I give?" He started to get his life sorted out by paying back what he owed and giving generously. It's a relationship with Jesus Christ that enables you to do this. Your life. Like Zacchaeus, you can find forgiveness and a totally new start. The mess of the past has been cleared up. You are freed from the rat race. You discover that your future is secure through a relationship with Christ, which goes on forever. Your family. Jesus said, "Today, salvation has come to this house." Everyone in the household is included. Your society. The poor benefited. He gave half his possessions to the poor. Justice was done. Those who had been cheated were repaid. You, like Zacchaeus, can be part of God's transformation of society. Today, Jesus says to you, "Come immediately. I must stay at your house today." How will you respond? You don't have to go through a crisis to receive Jesus. He says to each of us that he wants to stay at our house today. If you've not yet done so, why not invite him today? Ask him to show you how much he loves you. Think about the fact that he died for you. Ask him to show you if there's anything you need to put right in your life. If there is, why not follow Zacchaeus' example and do it right away? Lord, thank you that you can use a crisis to transform my life for the better. May today be a new start. I invite you into my heart. Help me to encounter you afresh today, that I may say, "Today, salvation has come to this house."